Welcome to the first video of the channel. My name is Chris and you're watching the Toy Room Massacre. Today I'm taking a look at the recently released DOOM Marauder. I'm a big fan of the Doom franchise, and spoiler alert, I really think that this is a freaking awesome figure. We're going to start with a quick look at his packaging, the accessories, and then after that we're going to get into the figure itself. But before we do, real quick, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, so this is the actual packaging that it came with. As you can see, it's a picture on the back of the Marauder holding the axe, looking vicious on the side. Just another picture, and this is probably, if you're going to display him on like a shelf with the figure in front of it, this is most likely the side that I would show because it has the logo, it has the actual character. If you see a little back, it has the McFarlane Toys company logo on the top. Overall, that is the side I would show. This is just the front, another picture of the Marauder. Nothing crazy. It actually says Marauder. And you can probably tell. So I ordered this from Amazon, and it looked like someone actually chewed it up. I did not do that. That is just how it came. I know that's a very common complaint. When it comes to Amazon, I see a lot of people, they order Funko Pops or action figures and they get really pissed off because they don't plan on taking them out of the box. And then you get a box like this, which of course brings down the value. No one wants to buy that. For me, that's not a big deal. I always take my action figures out of the box. I don't really hope to resell them. This is just for me. So that's not a big deal. So that's the packaging. Put that off to the side there. Show that. And then we could jump in with the base that he comes with. This is just a regular circular base. Has a little peg for the feet. And it has the Doom logo on top. Really nothing to it. This is common. He's been doing that with a lot of his packaging lately. If you've been picking up the DC Multiverse or anything like that, they always come with this. Although the Multiverse figures also come with a additional gimmick, which is the trading cards. Doom does not. Instead, all we get is that and then the battle axe. So as you can see here, get it up nice and close kind of. You got the skull. There's some inscriptions on the blade. Pretty cool detail. I mean, as it should be. McFarlane Toys is well known for their skulls and chains and all types of different fetish equipment, especially their older toys from the 90s. So the only thing with the battle axe, I would say, it's, as you can tell, it's very flimsy. But it looks great. And I can honestly say I've seen a lot of other reviews of the Marauder. And when I was looking at it, I don't know, I kind of thought like this red blade was kind of, I don't know, it looked just kind of cheesy. But holding it here in person, I can say that it looks great with the character. It matches that thing that he has on his chest over his heart. He's got like a Tony Stark thing going on. Like I said, the only issue is this flimsiness here. It makes it easy to get it into the Marauder's hand. But if you're going to take it out and in and out and in over time, I can see that this flexibility is going to eventually become a defect. You're going to start noticing it bending more and more because it doesn't have a lot of great support. All right, but that aside, those are all the accessories it comes with. This is the only weapon that the Marauder actually comes with, which I'll get into that in a second here or later in the video. But for now, let's actually jump into the figure itself. Let me go get him. Okay, so here he is. This is the Marauder in all of his infernal glory. Really awesome looking figure. You can kind of see an up-close shot of him there. So let's start with the articulation. Starting at the bottom, his feet do a little bit right there. Nothing crazy. Both feet do that. Not a lot of articulation on the foot. Then we get down up here, the leg, and that'll bend. That's about as far back as it'll go. Kind of like a straight 90-degree angle. Same thing with the other side. Right there. Moving up, his arms. On the left one, it goes pretty much exactly horizontal. The right, not as much. You're going to see it gets caught right there. That's 100% because of this larger, chunkier piece of armor. Elbow joints, They bend in, no problem. The hand is going to turn. It's a little bit tight on mine, so you might want to warm that up with a blow dryer or something, maybe some hot water on your figure. This other arm, of course, continues to bend, no problem. The hand, same thing, turns all the way around, a little tight. Go to the chest, a little movement, nothing crazy, goes back. And then finally the head, it'll go left, it'll go right, up, down. That's about it. He's not going to be stargazing anytime soon. As far as the spread of the legs, which I didn't really talk about, they are going to get stopped here because of these soft rubbery armor parts on his thighs. So that's about as much of a split as you're going to get with the Marauder. I don't suspect many people who buy this figure are going to be making him do gymnastics, but nevertheless, he can kind of do it. As far as the paint job goes, from what I can tell, everything looks pretty good. Not really much of a sloppy paint job at all. I know I've had figures in the past that are kind of iffy when it comes to that, especially like I bought a Harley Quinn, which I'll show you here in a moment as a size comparison. It's the only DC Multiverse figure I've actually purchased. But her paint job was kind of iffy. So not any problems like that with him. And let me show you him on the base holding the battle axe. All right, there he is, fully set up. He's on the stand, which he really doesn't need. He stands up perfectly well on his own. He has like really big feet, so it's not an issue. And yeah, this is typically how I would display him. As you see, he kind of has like his hand like he's telling you to bring it. I love this. If you got a smaller character, he has, because of the head articulation, you can kind of aim it down so he's looking down on the potential victim. But yeah, man, like this is a pretty good looking figure. That is typically how I would do it. I probably wouldn't use this packaging because Amazon ate half of it. So let me actually get you a size comparison shot with the previously mentioned Harley Quinn. There she is, dropped her hammer as always. You can see she's considerably smaller. I know there was a lot of controversy when she first got released because in comparison to characters like Batman or Superman, she was basically looking them eye to eye. And she is supposed to be a smaller character. But when it comes into the Marauder, she really doesn't, look equivalent. She looks like she would be smaller, definitely a little bit weaker than this big hulking demon, which is good. It's exactly what you want from a Marauder figure, I would assume. So yeah, that's the one size comparison I'll show you. Next week I will do another comparison with him and the Doom Slayer, because I do have that figure in the new paint job, the Phobos, I believe it's called, not the original. So ultimately, man, I mean, I didn't actually get to show you guys some of the little details, which I'll do now. So you can see here on the side, he's got these little skulls. I don't know if that's supposed to be little demon skulls or, little people that he's killed. I'm not sure. Tons of runes all over him. You can kind of check out his chest there. Underneath, he has, like I said, that Tony Stark energy source over his heart, which probably is his heart. You see all these little veins popping out underneath. I don't know if that means like the armor's been welded to him or if it's just his corruption. He also has little details like that up on his head. Near the horns, you get all these little purplish veins, giving him that really nasty look. You see here, he has pouches, more runes. They don't hold anything, like I could show you here. They're just there for 90s nostalgia, I guess, when there was a lot of pouches. On his waist, going like basically halfway around the figure, you got all these shotgun shells. And that's going to lead me to one of my complaints with this guy, is that he has, and like you see, he stood up perfectly. And he's down, and everything's down. Okay, now that I'm done being punished for my hubris, as I was saying, he has all these shotgun shells on his waist, and you can even see his hand here, which looks like he should be holding something, most likely a shotgun. But he doesn't come with it. He only comes with the battle axe. And this is, like I said, a cool weapon, a little flimsy. But in the game, if you've actually played Doom Eternal, or maybe you've just seen some videos, if you was to YouTube that, you see in the game that he has a shotgun attack, he has the battle axe, he shoots energy beams, and he even summons like a spirit wolf at some point to harass the Doomslayer. So it would have been cool if, you can see he has a little bit of leather under that armor, it would have been cool if McFarlane had at least given us a shotgun. Especially, like I said, it would make sense with the figure. He has the shells. He has a hand that looks, typically that's a hand that would be holding some type of firearm. Maybe the idea there was that since they released multiple figures of the Doomslayer, you would hypothetically have an extra shotgun laying around. But it would have been cool if they had actually packaged him with his own weapon and firearm. But they did not, which is my one chief complaint. Maybe I've been spoiled. I kind of look at the NECA horror figures as a benchmark at this point. And, NECA always packages their collectibles with multiple heads, various accessories and props, all types of weapons. I know for a fact if you was to ever pick up the Chucky, the Bride of Chucky 2-pack, you get like almost a dozen weapons in that box set alone. And not for nothing, NECA also releases a lot of accessory packs where I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street and It Chapter 2 or Chapter 1 or just It in general. They had a whole box set with nothing but accessories for you to display your action figures with. And it would have been really cool if McFarlane kind of jumped on that. And not just for Doom, but I know they've also made Borderlands action figures that I don't really collect, but I have played that game, and that's another game where there's a lot of weapons, and the weapons are almost characters in and of themselves. And it would be cool for McFarlane to kind of give that type of customer service for the collector. I don't really play with these figures. When I do, I tend to break them. So really, I try to get them in a couple cool poses that I might change up from time to time, swap out weapons. If it's a figure with different heads, I might swap out the heads. But when it comes to McFarlane, I know a lot of people want tons of articulation. I'm not one of them. I kind of like having them be a little bit like posable statues. I get a good pose that I really dig, and he stays like that for a while. But it would be cool to have more options. Right now, all he has is his battle axe, which does bring me to a concern that I have with McFarlane Toys right now in general, which is, are they going to start releasing more of the same guy, like this figure again, but this time he's going to show up with a shotgun and a shield, because he does have a shield in the video game as well. And are you going to try to make me pay another $20 to get the exact same figure, but with slightly different arrangement of weapons? That's something I don't want to do. If I was going to spend another $20, I'd rather get like an accessory pack, which just comes with a bunch of weapons, or maybe even like a little figure of the energy wolf that he can summon instead. But we'll see, because that's one thing I noticed with McFarlane. They've been releasing like bronze editions, which are cool, especially if you want to use that for something else. Like I know I used to collect Games Workshop Warhammer miniatures. A big bronzed out version of the Marauder would be an excellent decoration for a miniature scenery where that guy could be like a statue for the Chaos Space Marines. But regardless, that is not the case for myself. So I definitely wish that they had more accessories. And I definitely don't want to see the next announcement from Doom just being this guy, but with a shotgun, that I feel like he should have came with to begin with. But overall, I think this is a must-buy if you're a fan of Doom, if you're a fan of demons, and if you're a fan of sci-fi/horror in general, because this figure is pretty badass. If you don't know what the Marauder actually is, and this is your first time even hearing about him, which I doubt if you're watching this video, but just in case, basically, these demons were former elite warriors that betrayed their cause and their calling and their oath, and instead they become corrupted by hell and turn into these creatures that you as the Doomslayer eventually slaughter. Very reminiscent, very common theme. You see that with Warhammer as well, which I should have some new Warhammer figures coming in the next few weeks. I got the Space Marine and the Necron pre-ordered. So we'll talk a little bit more about Space Marines and Traitor Legions and all that stuff next week or so. But yeah, so that's just a brief, super brief background. Not going to go into the lore of the Marauder. But this is the guy. I think it's a must-buy for $20. You can't really beat that price. But yeah, let me know what you think. And like I said, aside from the lack of accessories, he is a great-looking demon. He's going to look great on your shelf. And I absolutely recommend buying them. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, please share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with the next figure. See you guys.